home, Mommy says, Bhaiya, there's a letter for you. There's a telegram set in.
Yes,
And
exactly.
the Indo-Pak War of
Yes.
71 was going to be starting
Yeah.
anytime. And for 17 days, we did not know how he was, where he was, whether he was alive and kicking or not, or what had come of him. We had no idea.
So you always wanted a army background boy?
No,
or
I never wanted an army background. Let me tell you that. I wanted a really nice, tall person.
Hello everyone, I am Shipra Mathur from House of Mickey and Moment Studio. Today in our studio we have Mrs. Renuka Prasad, better half of General Shankar Prasad from Indian Army, a lady who stood beside him in all kinds of situations, critical or calm, followed by responsible roles which she played as a wife, as a mother-in-law, and as a commander's wife, and also a grandmother now, who is now here to share her experiences and her stories with us. So, Renu Auntie, welcome to our studio. We're so glad you take out some time and come here and share your
Shipra,
stories
it's
with
really
us.
very, very sweet of you to have invited me over. And well, I'd love to share some of the experiences that I've been through because life in the army is not a very smooth sailing. There are always the ups and downs that we keep having within our lives.
Yes.
And it's nice. It's good fun at the end of the day when you reflect on them.
In our times, we never had a choice to actually go and find a boy. It was always our parents or the relatives who brought a boy, and then we had to just say no, meet the boy, or say yes or no. So, what was my generation was slightly again a little different, another 20-30 years. But what was your thing we would like to
See, in
know?
our times also, it was the arranged marriage was the norm. And what I really loved about my marriage was the fact that it happened at all levels.
Okay.
I was introduced to Shankar, we liked each other, and to my literal horror, जिसे कहते हैं, when I was going out with him, my family did not say anything, neither my mother, who was pretty old fashioned, or my father. But when I came back in the afternoon, I saw my father sitting up. He hadn't slept in the afternoon, and I was quite perturbed. Has he seen me go out with someone? And then he turned to me and says, So, how did you like the boy? God, I was absolutely floored. I said, How did you know I've gone? He says, Because I've been speaking to his parents. And we wanted you both to meet each other in a totally natural, normal atmosphere without the pressure of the parents coming in and see if you liked each other. But the person I liked, I loved his mannerisms, I loved the way the way he spoke, the way he conducted himself. Everything was so good that he just floored me. And that was it. Then everything else, which were your requirements, your prerequisites, they go out of the window. Thereafter, you just look at that person and say, yeah, he is the right one for me. And well, that's what it's been now. 56 years.
56 years.
Yeah.
That's quite a long
That's
time.
a long time.
Yes. Generally, what happens is in army, there are many stations where families are not allowed. So, how was it, Uncle? Where was he posted? And did you go with him after marriage, or you had to stay back with the family and just visit him wherever he was posted?
Now, Shipra, for me, the one thing that we realized the moment I had got married was the fact that I'm marrying an infantryman. He's a soldier, a foot soldier. So he is basically going to be doing a lot of soldiering in the hills or in the plains or in the sand dunes area. And those, unfortunately, most of those regions are absolutely non-family stations where I could not accompany him. And this pattern had set in. So, throughout our tenure, I did not move with him till he actually became a general.
Okay.
And in a way, that was nice for me because I was able to have a settled life in Delhi with my in laws in the same house. My children studied in the same school right from KG till their board exams of class 12. So it was a nice, protected kind of a life within the family. And
Okay.
I used to joke with my mother, with my in-laws. I said, I think not that we matched a Janam Patri, मगर अगर कभी जन्म पत्री मिलाते भी आप तो अपने से मिलाते शंकर की पत्री के साथ नहीं क्योंकि I think I was destined to live with you all more than to live with my
With
own
other
husband. But it was a really wonderful thing. There was that feeling of protection
Yes.
where they were there. They were there for my children. And with the children also growing up, having grandparents in the house, seeing the tehzeeb, seeing the way you behave, seeing the way you talk, all that they have also imbibed.
Yes.
And of course, I being a Punjabi, marrying into the Mathurs, I was able to imbibe all the Mathur traditions from my mother-in-law. And I feel quite elated when a lot of people within the Mathur community say, "Kyare bhai, you to look more Mathur than a Punjabi now."
Yes.
So I suppose that is the ultimate
Yeah.
level of shabashi that I get
Yes.
from the family.
I
And I look upon that. I really like it.
Really nice. So here, my next question is exactly from the answer coming from you. That, like you said, that you were Punjabi and this Mathur, you married into a Mathur family, and our traditions are slightly different to what Punjabis have. So, did you find a lot of difference in that? Any challenges to accept those, or
Well, there were not many challenges as such because basically we are all Indians. We have basically the same kind of festivals, the same kind of stuff that goes on here and there. So there was not much of a difference, and it wasn't very difficult when you have a very understanding and very inviting in-laws who are there for you at every occasion. You don't have that difference.
Right.
And let me tell you, I could see the role reversal setting in over a period of time with them
okay,
as they aged. How it was now not them looking after me, but me trying to look after them.
Yes. Yes.
So it was a very, very which I was, which I think people don't realize today. And they feel, how can you sacrifice an independence of all your younger years by living with your in-laws? But I can assure them that there's nothing like living with them if you are on the same wavelength.
Exactly.
If they are going to do a lot of rope, toke, ye nahi karna, wo nahi karna, then of course there are problems. But if they are an understanding, they realize your problems, then it's a wonderful situation that you are in. It's a win-win situation for both ways.
Right. So, Auntie, like there used to be so many occasions, like festivals or any functions in the house, and where uncle couldn't come. So, what were your at that time you must be missing him, or let's say, for example, when you
I'll give you a very good example.
you conceived and
no, that was fine. That he
yeah.
was posted in Delhi.
Yeah.
He saw me through my deliveries and my mother.
Okay.
But he was one of those who doesn't like to go to the hospitals very much.
Okay.
So it was my mother-in-law who was taking me to the hospitals, and she was there. So everything was, there was hunky-dory. There was no problems about that.
Yes.
But the one time when you're talking of festivals, I definitely remember is when he was posted in Ladakh.
Oh.
And we were looking forward for him coming to Delhi home for Diwali. And my son was just all of 1.5 years. And when the husband is not around, you don't want to indulge in too many festivities per se.
Yes.
So nothing had been bought. No patakas, no ladis, and none of that stuff had happened, We hadn't even got the puja saman. Which my mother-in-law had wanted us to bring it. He said, we'll bring it, kal le aayenge, chal raha tha. Suddenly he arrived, and the next morning we all went. We had a little scooter, and the three of us went with Ashwini standing right in the front as a 1.5-year-old. We went to R.K. Puram, we picked up the patakas, ye wo sab kuch leke aa gaye the. And as we came home, Mommy says, Bhaiya, there's a letter for you. There's a telegram come for you. Those days were the telegrams. There were no phone calls or any such things that came.
Yes.
And the moment you opened the telegram, it said, rejoin duty immediately. He had just come in the morning and he was to go, and the next day was Diwali. So it was just a horrendous thought that he's going to be going away on Diwali.
Yes.
We tried to persuade him. He said, no, duty is duty. I have to go. So can you believe it? We hurriedly did the puja at home, and we went off to the station to drop him
Yeah.
because there was priority booking at that time. The
Right.
emergency had set in,
Yes,
and
exactly.
the Indo-Pak War of
Yes.
71 was going
Yeah.
to be starting
Yeah.
anytime. So he was recalled.
Yes.
So that is one festival which I can never ever get up. And for 17 days, we did not know how he was, where he was, whether he was alive and kicking or not, or what had come of him. We had no idea till a friend told us about, that no, he is in the thick of it, but he's fine.
He's fine.
And
Yeah. So the question you answered my question beforehand only. I was actually wanting to ask you that in army there have been many situations like this.
many times.
So like as you said that this emergency, and for 17 days you had no idea.
No
And
idea.
there must be like many other situations where all these kind of where you didn't know anything about it. So it how
many
did you
family weddings
you must have
got
really
attended.
got so used to, I mean,
I was
what
very
did
used to
you
going
go?
with my in-laws. Chitra.
Yeah, so you
Everywhere.
but somewhere you must be feeling where is
Of
he?
course, of
That
course.
worrisome, that
Of course,
wor-
that worry is always there in the back
Yes.
of your mind.
Yes.
And especially this was one, and he's been to all these areas which are the worrying areas.
Worrying
He was in
areas.
Ladakh, he was in
Yes.
Suratgarh, he was there with the operations in during Blue Star time.
Yeah.
Then he was there again later on in the NSG,
Yes.
where there was something or the other happening all the time.
Yes.
And then he went off to Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
And with Sri Lanka there, so it was literally, I mean, a very, very tense situation that used to be there.
Yeah.
Because you really didn't know what the hell is happening.
Right.
But thank God, by then the telephones had started. You didn't have the mobiles.
Yes, of
But
course.
at least you got calls through and you were
Some
able to
calls
speak
and
and
all
get to
that.
know how
Yes.
how he is those days. But that was a very tense period because the LTT was creating quite a lot of problems and you really didn't know where the hell are they going to strike because they were all living in the jungles.
Yes.
All live in the jungles and the tents and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So that those areas, I mean, I've seen my life full of tension at times, and yet God has been kind. But that takes you closer to God. It takes you closer to prayers. You start believing in a faith that yes, all will be well with you. So long as you believe in Him, things will go well. Arey, kitte fasts I've kept. The Santoshi Mata fast I kept for endless number of years. Then there were the Monday fast. Then there were the Tuesday fast. There were then the Sai Baba Thursday fast. I think basically there was hardly a day in the week when I wasn't fasting.
You were not fasting.
And each one had something different.
Yeah.
In one you could eat only yellow food. In the other one you couldn't eat any khatai. In the third one you couldn't eat any salt.
Yeah.
So it was a varied kind of a journey, but something that I believed in.
Yes.
So which gave me the stamina, the
Strength.
built the resilience over a period of years to be able to carry on with it.
So as a wife, you were going through this. Now there were children, and of course uncle, auntie, parents. So parents और आप लोग बड़े थे तो आप लोग फिर भी सब कर रहे थे, समझ रहे थे. But what about children? Like children from the young age, they were father was not around. So what was that was also becomes very challenging.
That becomes very, very challenging. I agree with you. But Shipra, every year for every holiday, I think the amount of money that we have paid to the Indian Airlines and to the Indian Railways is phenomenal. Because 4 दिन की छुट्टी होती थी and we take ourselves there. Whether it was J&K in Nashera, in all the other places, we'd just take off. So the children used to be there. I used to make it a point that we don't waste any chutti.
Yes.
Which is why I picked up also a teacher's job.
Okay.
Which gave me adequate chuttis. My holidays coincided with their holidays. Summer vacations we spent together.
Right.
So we tried to extend our living together as a family as much as we could.
Yes.
In the bargain, it was a blessing in disguise in a way. because the children saw newer areas, newer places,
Yes.
and every time they went, they saw different aspects of the army in
Yes.
the mountains, in the Rajasthan area, the deserts area.
Yes. Yes.
You know how you switched on the cooler and all the dust came in, all the sand came inside when the sandstorm came in. So we saw all
So you,
that,
all the
all that
experiences. So they
really.
really enjoy.
So they enjoyed
Yeah.
different experiences, whichever place they went to, seeing the artifacts of that place, eating the food of that place. We
Yes.
had quite a number of postings in Rajasthan, whether it was Jodhpur or with the Jaipur and all within his command, so they could
Yes.
visit those places. So that was it. So it was nice. It was from that point of view, you have to see the positivity in
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
You look at negative and then everything is negative.
Yes, of course.
But when you look at positively, with a life with a positive nature, then you are able to understand and realize there's always something good in something.
Oh, that's nice.
And one thing which used to be very nice was
Mm.
every visit used to be like a new date.
Yes.
You're meeting each other after such a long time.
Yes.
So your romance kind of a thing never became very boring. There was a new aspect to it and new areas, new places to discover and get to know each other in a different manner every time. That was good.
So this is very nice because this is I've always seen or heard from various friends or especially these days. I mean, our generation or the younger generation, there are a lot of disparity happens. Probably, I think now there are a lot of postings happening where families can also go. So not many people are having that kind of problem where they are staying away. But
Let me tell you that one thing, Shipra,
Hmm.
which is a very important facet.
Yeah.
In our times, the priority was a marriage,
Mhm.
family,
Yes.
family oriented.
Yes.
Okay, jobs were secondary.
Mhm.
Because you lived within that salary, limited salary, what you had.
Mhm.
And mind you, it was quite a pittance, it was quite a low amount.
Yes.
But slowly, as the times progressed, and in your ages, maybe now, every woman in the army is a working woman.
Yeah.
She has a job.
Mhm.
Even though the salaries have become very good,
Mhm.
she has a job in which she feels she's got a personality of her own,
Yeah.
which she has developed.
Yeah.
So she does not want to join her husband
Mhm.
in a posting where he has gone unless that place is lucrative enough for
For
her
her
to
to-
offer a
Yes.
similar kind of a job that she'd leave.
Right.
And
Yeah.
when you're in Delhi or in Kolkata or Mumbai and any of these metro cities, the job facilities are so attractive. You're working in MNCs, you're working in the newer regions, in the newer areas. You don't want to
Right.
give it up. So that is where the frictions are coming in large numbers. The husband moves himself, even in a peace area, which is not the right thing. The priorities change, and then the frictions come in, then the disharmony sets in, and then there are these divorces and all that stuff. That's my talking. I don't know what the new generation has to say.
Yeah.
Many of them are able to keep it up and keep growing. Well, good luck to them, and I'm very happy to see that happen also. But like I'm telling you, there are these other things. So, like what we used to have in our times, I remember whenever I went with them to any of these areas, not on a posting, but even when I visited, there were family welfare centers where the troops' wives came in, taught them something, you learned something from them. There was that bond harmony that developed.
Yeah.
During the war, I saw that kind of a thing also. When he was away, like after I joined him as a general, I realized my duties became manifold thereafter.
Yes.
Looking after the troops' wives, looking
Yes.
after their welfare,
Yes.
which was very, very important.
Yes.
To keep a happy family,
Yeah.
you have to look after them. You have to look
Yes.
after the officers' wives.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
have to be like a mother figure to them.
Right.
And if they have any problems, they come and confide in you, they talk to you, and you are able to solve those out.
Yes.
So those kind of things are a issue which you have to do. So
Right.
you have to, as a senior officer's wife, be a psychiatrist also, be a psychologist also,
Yes.
try and be a counselor also to try and offer all kinds of problems their solution to their problems, and also be, when I say counselor, not only an emotional counselor but also a marriage counselor,
Yeah.
to see that the marital harmony is maintained between the two of
Yes.
them together.
Exactly. Yeah. So this is a I have seen because my dad is also from army, and we have also seen. I remember my childhood, thoda bahut yaad hai, and but I see my friends and all who are posted, and their wives are there, and the husband is commanding there, and so she becomes the head's wife. So she is also taking care of the entire unit and the way they do their activities, and the ladies themselves, they do a lot of
Yeah,
things together and grow together, in fact.
of course,
And
absolutely.
I have seen that when the younger ladies who come, the young officers' wives, and how these senior officers' wives start taking care of them.
Absolutely.
That's a beautiful thing which I have
You see,
seen
they
in
have
the
to be taught
army
the
background.
etiquettes. They have to be taught the etiquettes,
Etiquettes, yeah.
which many of the civilian ladies who are
Yeah.
coming in from
Yeah.
civilian families
Yeah.
are not aware of.
Yes.
Those who are coming from an army background,
Yeah.
they are aware of it, but the
Right.
others are not.
Right.
So the onus lies on you as the first lady of that station
Right.
to bring them under your wing, to look
Yes.
after them, take
Yeah.
care of them,
Right.
and be a friend to them,
Yeah.
in guiding them along.
Again, a motherly figure.
Yeah, a motherly figure, absolutely.
So, Auntie, another question I would like to ask you, when you were staying here in Delhi, and I think you were into a lot of social causes.
Yeah.
Where you were working on them. So, what kind of social causes you were working at?
See, basically speaking, at that time, I wasn't very much into the social sphere at all.
Mhm.
For me, it was more of a time of trying to do anything that I could and get my leave along with the children's leave.
Yeah.
So I worked as a teacher.
Okay.
Okay, and I did as whatever I could as a teacher only
Mhm.
in that sphere, in that
Okay. Right.
thing.
Right.
But yes, once I moved with him, and once I had my own problem
Right.
of coming down with cancer,
Yes.
thereafter I've been working with them only. Otherwise, the
Right.
basic social causes have been related with ABA, that is the Army
Yeah.
Wives Welfare Association,
Exactly.
which I
Yes.
just told you all about,
Yeah.
going and
Yeah.
keeping all the women
Women.
of not only the officers' wives but also the Jawans' wives and the others within your wing, and keep a harmonious relationship existing within your unit or your brigade or the division or whatever it be.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was the biggest social cause that one worked towards, the
Yeah.
ABA cause.
Yeah.
Whether you looked at children who were with disparities, the differently abled children, sending them to the Asha schools. I opened up an Asha school in Bhatinda. We opened
Okay.
up one in Jodhpur,
Yeah.
which never existed.
Yes.
So that was in a way to help the families to come to terms with the children. I won't call them handicapped, but because they are today called the differently abled children,
Yes.
to guide them into those Asha schools.
Yeah.
And every area in the cantonment today has an Asha school.
Okay.
But it took time to build up to that level.
Yeah.
So that was my biggest cause that I really looked at the hospitals,
Yes.
the welfare work that is done there. All those were the causes that I looked at.
And Auntie, then when you were diagnosed of cancer, and were you alone or you were with sir?
No, I was in Bhatinda with him. He was
Okay.
commanding a corps at that time
Yes.
when I discovered, and it was all because of a breast self-examination, which one had heard another friend go through. So I discovered it on Holi, and as a small little mark, and that's where the story started.
Okay.
And it turned out to be, a malignancy. I had to be operated, and I was operated in the RR hospital, which had just been set up.
Yes.
So I was one of the first few clients of the RR hospital,
Right.
which is now 28 years old.
This one, the
Yeah.
Subrata Park.
So I've also
Yeah.
been through it 28 years ago, and it's been quite an experience.
Yes.
But I am none the better, worse for it. I think at the end of the day, God has been kind. I, somehow went through that experience and came out victorious. And with God's grace, I'm still around helping. And ever since then, I've been deeply, deeply involved with the Indian Cancer Society.
Right.
All these years. And I'm looking at all the other various activities that we do, and that gives me a lot of satisfaction. I feel happy at the end of the day when I'm able to help even one patient get through his cancer treatment somehow or the other. It's exorbitant. It's really huge expense for a family to be able to go through it. The trauma, the emotional trauma, the financial trauma, all the other ways of going through it, the family being traumatized with it along with you. So like they say these days, of course, there are lots that are happening in it. Like the latest thing that the government has come up with, the Ministry of Family Planning and the Child Welfare, is that, Swasth Nari Sashakt Parivar. Because everything in the family revolves around that woman. And the woman is the one who may find the first symptom, but not go for any kind of a checkup. Why? Because it's either the children's tests, exams, or the husband promotion that is coming. There's a big boss coming in from somewhere. Aaj nahi, 2 din baad, 2 din, 20 din ban jate hain. The lump keeps getting bigger and bigger. So these are the kind of issues. So they say the family falls apart, becomes disarray. And more so since the families are now nucleus families, smaller units. They're not like what we used to be, with the in-laws, everybody living in together. सब आ रहे हैं, देवर, नंद, सब आ रहे हैं घर में, खाना हो रहा है, ये doesn't happen these days.
Doesn't happen.
Nobody has time for all this. So it's very important that the woman keeps her health intact, and that can only be.
So this, and you have done, touch wood, by God's grace, everything is fine, and you've done a great
that way
thing.
It's a good
Okay, so coming back now, like to a happier this thing. So now you have grown up grandchildren. So how do you feel about them now? Because you must be remembering a young Ashwini or Anisha, and here it is Shekhar and Pia. So
you see, the young kids at that time were totally different to what they are today. And more so since all these 4 grandchildren of mine are living abroad. The kind of environment in which they are being brought up was quite different to what our kids were being brought up. And especially when the father was not there. It was the grandfather who kept an eye on them. And, to see that you don't go out, you don't come back in time, there's no running around, no fooling around, those kind of things. They happen. They did happen, obviously. Kids will be kids. But not to the extent that these days it's happening, that the kids have permission to do whatever they want to, whenever they want to. They can eat what they like, they can go out when they like, they can go with whoever they like. There's no restriction of any kind whatsoever. There's a choice of career open to them, what they want to become. And the career fields have also become very vast now. So they are not the concentrated doctor, engineer, MBAs. Excuse me, which were there in our times. Now the field is wide open. Everything chalta hai. What you could be a chef, like you are yourself, doing so excellently well in your catering business itself. You could be a tailor, you can become a designer. Look at the Manish Malhotras and look at the people like them, how well they are rolling in money literally. Industries has also opened up in a lot of dimensions. Like you have your own daughter doing photography today and will become a commercial photographer at some point of time, and taking on assignments and things like that. So these were never there before. Did you ever see a lady photographer going around in weddings and all? Today you see them. They are quite a part and parcel of the group that is there everywhere. So, I mean, I'm just naming randomly things. There are even many, many more that have come into it.
So, that was really nice, Auntie. So much we've got to know about you and your experience. Thank you so much. And thanks again, once again, to come and come to our studio and
definitely, it's been a real
give your time to us and give such love. Okay, Auntie, thank you for coming.
Thank you so much, Shipra.
This is just
really
a small
uncalled for.
Appreciation.
Oh no, Shipra, so kind
You've
of you.
been such a
Thank you
great
ever so
inspiration
much.
to
Not
all of
at
us.
all. Thank you so much.